Watching movies, jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.
Welcome back to K-Flix Fiction Radio, everyone. I am excited today. This is one of the first fictional bands I thought about covering when the idea was born. Coconut Pete from the movie Club Dread. And Dustin, this was your first time watching this movie, correct?
It was, yes.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Super Troopers, which I think is the consensus of the public at large. But I think its jokes, when they hit really hard.
I think that it's a pretty underrated movie, to be fair. I don't think a lot of people really gave it its fair shake when the movie came out.
I would push back a little bit and say that those who said it was a little disjointed and didn't go too far from the slasher parody stuff that was already going on were not wrong either.
Well, I mean, that's a fair criticism. I'm not going to say that it's not. But I still very much enjoy the movie.
I loved all of the very Broken Lizard gags in it. Just the penelope recurring bit, the thing where Lars is able to like shrink his physical form with like a tantric meditation or something. Those, I was laughing hard at that stuff.
I also really loved the use of dummies in this movie, whether they be monkey or human or whatever. The use of dummies kills me every time.
There was a ton of great prop comedy. Yeah. For sure.
Now, before we get too into the weeds, I thought it would be a fun thing to ask you what your favorite coconut treat might be, Dustin.
Oh, coconut treat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ooh.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a sweet treat. It could be Coconut Pete's paella, for example.
Yeah. Oh, not a big paella guy. I like a good curry. I like a good Thai curry. There's some coconut involved in that.
Right.
But, hey, go back to basics. I'm like a Mounds guy.
Ooh.
Some people feel like a nut. I don't.
And it's dark chocolate for the Mounds.
Yeah. And I think that's a winning combo. Dark chocolate, coconut. Can't go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
What's yours?
I'm a German chocolate cake guy.
Oh, bro. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I haven't tasted German chocolate cake in many years, but...
That was my dad's favorite cake, so my mom made it for him on his birthday every year, so I grew up with the German chocolate cake.
Oh, nice. So back to the film. Real quick, I told you it was my first time watching it, but do you realize how little I knew about this going into it?
No.
I knew that it involved a character named Coconut Pete, who was a Jimmy Buffett-like sort of fella. Mm-hmm. But that was pretty much the extent of it. I didn't know it was a slasher flick, even.
Oh.
I mean, you find out right away, and it starts with like a Halloween-like intro music. So
I love the way that they talk to each other in that opening of like, why don't you come here and lick my chest?
just making them super gross. Like, yeah. Kill these people. Yeah, I had no idea it was going to be a slasher flick. I mean, as soon as I said that to my wife, who watched it with me, she was like, "It's called Club Dread. What did you think it was going to be?" Fair. So it's a slasher flick, and it's a Scooby-Doo style slasher flick almost. There's no unmasking per se. Wait, is there?
Well, it's more of a reveal rather than an unmasking.
Yeah. That's right. It's a take. It's a play on the unmasking, for sure. I would say it's Scooby-Dooian at its heart.
It's not as Scooby-Dooian as the Scooby-Doo ending of Wayne's World, for example, where they pull off Benjamin's face and it's the old guy who runs the amusement park. It's not anything like that.
Yeah, it's a good old-fashioned find the killer amongst us with a reveal. So this film is the second effort by the Broken Lizard Collective, and they've been around for a while at this point, but most famously, I think Super Troopers was their breakout hit.
Well, certainly they break out.
Since then, they've done a bunch. Beer Fest.
Oh yeah, Slammin' Salmon. Super Troopers 2, they did Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, Dukes of Hazzard.
I mean, I guess that was more of a J vessel than anybody else. That wasn't like a collective.
Gotcha.
Although the rest of the boys do make cameos in it, if I remember correctly.
So, they're a tight-knit group, but for this film, they are joined by one Bill Paxton. So, having never seen this before, I was like struck by the physical way he played Coconut Pete. This is like Paxton's Beetlejuice.
I could totally see that.
Like there's a wacky like stiffness in the way his head turns and his eyes bug out. Like this is his Beetlejuice.
That's a really funny way to look at it. I really like that.
And Coconut Pete he doesn't like the comparison, but he's more than a little bit like the real world Jimmy Buffett, would you say?
Yeah, totally, in the way that they sound similar in their musical stylings, 100%.
And they both have the whole island resort vibe going on. I mean, obviously the character's modeled after Jimmy Buffett, but the joke in the film is that he came first 7 years before that fucking song.
Well, not necessarily that Coconut Pete came first, but that his song came before Margaritaville.
His famous island anthem, yeah.
Yes, Pina Colada Berg.
So, Shawn, do you know, did Jimmy Buffett ever get a chance to see this flick?
Dustin, how did you know I have the perfect clip queued up for this?
Do you really?
I do. After the passing of the great Jimmy Buffett, Jay Chandrasekhar,
The director of this film.
yes, he went on TikTok to tell the story of Bill Paxton and himself going to show the movie to Jimmy Buffett. So I'm just going to play a clip from this TikTok.
So Bill and I flew down to West Palm Beach to show Jimmy Buffett the movie. On the way, Bill and I were walking through the West Palm Beach airport, and people kept walking up to Bill, and they were like, "Hey, I loved you in Twister." He goes, "Oh man, that's fucking great!" And he'd give him a $20 bill, and somebody would be like, "Hey, I loved you," and everybody's all, "Hey, oh man!" And we went in that movie, you know. And he kept rolling 20s. Everybody came up to him, complimenting, gave him a 20, and he looks at me, he goes, "Always carry a roll of 20s. Those people are movie goers. They're going to be bringing their friends. You're going to make that money back." Anyway, so we go down and watch a movie with Jimmy, and we sit, it's just me, Bill, Jimmy Buffett, sitting. We're on either side of Jimmy, and and I'm like, I hope he doesn't feel insulted. And as soon as Bill did that thing around the campfire where the woman says, "Hey, play Margaritaville," he goes, I made Pina Colada Berg 7 years before that dumb song. And he's just trashing Jimmy Buffett's song, son of a bitch. Anyway, Buffett was rolling, and we had a ball. We went out and had beers after it. He just loved it. He's such a good guy.
That, like every Bill Paxton story, it's fantastic. That man was larger than life.
Yeah, man.
I love that. It's such a wholesome story. The throwing out the 20s. What a guy. What a treasure. He left us way
he's
too
missed
soon.
Every day. Yeah.
Every day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even gotten into it on this podcast, but Twister holds a very special place in my heart.
We're going to get to plenty more Bill Paxton stuff.
By the way, I love that son of a bitch line, that reference to son of a sailor, the Jimmy Buffett song.
Yeah. Well, I love that he follows it up too with motherfucker. Like doubling down on the curses to somebody at the same time is so funny.
The biggest laugh that I had in this whole film was Bill Paxton, and it was totally probably unscripted moment, but it's just that long shot of him in the water, in the shallow water at the beach. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he's standing there, he's got his guitar strapped on his back, and this wave comes and just knocks him down. And he provides, like, in the booth later, is so good.
Oh, yeah, it's really, really good. I love how much lore we get about Coconut Pete in the movie, too. We get 3 album titles, Hope to Have Hammocks in Heaven, Sea Shanties and Wet Panties. And they show us all 9 songs for this particular album. Those songs are Naughty Cow, Tequila Amnesia, I'd tell you, but then I'd have to tequila. Down by the Buxom Bay, Sarong Song, Highballs and Lowballs, Passion Fruit Booty, and one my mouth is not able to pronounce.
And Te quiero tequilera.
There we go.
Which is I want tequila in Spanish.
Okay, well, see, there we go. I failed Spanish, so I couldn't say it.
Sorry, which is you want tequila in Spanish.
Nice.
I didn't do well either.
And then there's still a 3rd album. It's called Spanish Fly Fisherman. And we get another song from this one called Pink Crustaceans and Good Vibrations.
Spanish Fly Fisherman. I caught that. That's a really gross one. I would say overall, Coconut Pete is Jimmy Buffett, but a little even more pigeonholed into the island and tequila thing, and I would say like 30% grosser,
Yeah, for sure.
if not more.
And speaking of albums from Coconut Pete, Dustin,
Yes.
I have a real-life Coconut Pete vinyl.
Take another hit, the best of Coconut Pete. I love that they chose that title because it has 5 songs on it. He really whittled it down hard, you know?
And the record has a message on it, Dustin. A message from Coconut Pete.
Oh, what does it say?
Buenos dias and aloha, coconuts. I can't decide which I love more, the sound of the waves slapping against my schooner while I sleep, or my fans cheering themselves hoarse all the way from back in the cheap seats. Since y'all know how much I love my schooner more than life itself, that should tell you how I feel about y'all. I know y'all have enjoyed listening to my songs as much as I've enjoyed writing them. Whether you're a Caribbean rum runner or a city dweller longing for high tides and green grass, these songs will make you feel like you're boinging off a diving board right into a coconut shell filled with time travel juice. Coconut Pete 2000.
Boingin'. That's a good word.
Yeah.
That's fun. Is that I don't know enough about Buffett to know. I don't have any Jimmy Buffett records, but did he write personal messages to his fans like that?
I honestly do not know. That is not a thing I thought to look up.
We'll look it up and figure out if that's an intentional reference or not.
In preparation for this episode, Dustin, I went back and listened to an episode of a podcast called Chewin' It with Kevin and Steve, Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy from Broken Lizard. It's a 2-part podcast with Bill Paxton, and I got a lot of good Club Dread stories from this podcast. Yeah. I would recommend everybody to listen to this 2-part episode of their podcast because it is wholly unhinged and chaotic, and Paxton is full out Paxton to the Maxton. He is super gassy throughout the whole thing, and he's telling these amazing stories and then just lets out these huge guttural burps, and Steve and Kevin just lose it laughing because it's totally not fitting with the stuff he's talking about. It's so funny. Amazing stories, not even just from Club Dread stuff, but like all kinds of great Bill Paxton stories.
Oh, he was just so comfortable being himself.
He really was. And it was a beautiful thing to listen to. They talk about the pain that Bill and Kevin went through for their hair extensions for the movie because their hair was too short. So it was excruciatingly painful for hours and hours and hours of getting the extensions put in.
Oh, that's great.
They talk about the nickname that they gave Paxton on set that he absolutely fucking hated.
Which was?
Pancakes Paxton.
Is this because of like a breakfast he ate on set?
Yeah, it was because he ate pancakes every day. So they would just like refer to him as Pancakes, and he would never answer to it. But they would be like, "Yo, Pancakes!" And he just like would shut it down. He tells this story about going in to record the Coconut Pete songs, and they had a bunch of scented candles lit in the recording studio, and Paxton walks in and was like, "Oh man, I fucking hate scented candles. This shit's got to get out of here. Like, it's all fucking stinky." It's so good. Like, they had no idea he really hated scented candles until that day.
Some people are sensitive to those fragrances.
He also tells the absolutely epic story of him getting dosed with PCP while shooting Titanic. If you haven't heard that story, it's tremendous.
Oh, does that telling come out of the podcast with these guys? I didn't know that.
It might. I don't know.
Or maybe he told it a few times in his life, but I've definitely heard that, and it's a fantastic tale.
Dustin, sometimes I have these reveals for episodes, and I feel like I have a pretty juicy one to give you in this episode of the show.
Ooh, yeah? Is it Paxton related?
It is very much Paxton related. In the 80s, Bill Paxton was in a band.
Oh.
That band is called Martini Ranch.
Martini Ranch. This is a very Jimmy Buffett sounding name.
I know. It's a super Jimmy Buffett sounding name. They don't sound like Jimmy Buffett, though.
Oh, no? Okay.
No.
Let me guess. Like roots blues rock.
Oh, okay. I like where your head's at. Where your head's at. Okay. They shot 2 music videos. We're going to listen to...
like a real band.
Yeah, I know.
This isn't like some thing at a bar for fun. This is...
They released a full album.
Wait, real quick. Let me place this in time. Like, where is it in his career? Is this post-Aliens? Is he a known quantity?
Yeah, it's post-Terminator, post-Aliens, post-Weird Science.
Okay.
The first song that I'm going to play for you, it's called Reach. This was the second music video that they did. It's directed by James Cameron.
Nice.
Catherine Bigelow is acting in this music video.
Oh, the whole team.
Here's a little snippet from the song Reach by Bill Paxton's Martini Ranch. By the way, Bill Paxton wrote most of the lyrics for the album.
When the shadow of the night came on, he was gone. One day he bought himself a gun, said, now I'm gonna make them pay. Reach!
There's the Paxton.
I heard him say, yes, this ain't your lucky day. Reach!
Listen to this whistle.
So I did not expect New Wave to be the direction it went.
Sure, yeah, I can understand that.
It had like a big audio dynamite bass line.
Yeah, it totally did. But I asked you to pay attention to that whistle, Dustin.
Yeah.
Because we're about to play a little guessing game, and I've got some hints prepared for you because I feel like it's an impossible task to do otherwise.
Okay.
That whistle is brought to you by a pretty famous actor, specifically in the 80s. So I'm going to go ahead and play some more of the whistling for you. You can go ahead and try to guess, and then I have 3 hints prepared for you.
Okay.
Now, if you get this right, Dustin, I will give you a free veto to say no to anything that I want to cover at the given suggested time.
Okay. Okay, so this is a famous actor you're saying has provided that whistle.
Correct.
Actor meaning the classical definition of male Hollywood performer.
Sure, yes.
Okay, so I just have to narrow it down from the pool of 50% of all people who have ever appeared on camera in things.
I did give you a 10-year specific range where they were their most popular.
That was when they were their most popular. Okay, so I should just take a guess because I get a hint if I get it wrong, right?
Correct.
Well, I will start with Michael J. Fox. Oh.
I love that, though. That would be so good. And what a way to tie it back into an episode we've already done.
Family tie it.
All right, so your hint, Dustin. They were in the highest grossing rated R comedy in U.S. history until The Hangover. They held that title for over 20 years.
Over 20 years. I'm also trying to, just think if I've ever seen anyone be really good at whistling. Let's, Bill Murray. Yeah.
Love the guess, though.
Yeah.
Second clue. They had memorable guest starring roles on Seinfeld and Arrested Development.
Oh. Was Carl Weathers in Seinfeld? I'm just trying to think of anyone old enough in Arrested Development to have been most popular in the 80s and to also have been on Seinfeld. Bob Einstein?
Boy, do I love that guess.
Super Dave was super wrong.
Your final clue.
Yes.
This person was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Which I have never fucking seen.
You need to fix that. This is the one where you should get it. Audience, you should be getting it now.
Well, audience, you're smarter than me if you are, or at least you've seen more classic comedy films. Yeah, I've never seen Fast Times. I it's been referenced enough in my life that I even know to call it Fast Times. Yeah, I don't know who's in it beside.
There's a lot of big names in that movie.
Are there a lot? I think I know
I
one.
think so.
I know one maybe, and I'm not even positive. Is Sean Penn like the guy, like a goofy guy in that movie? Yeah.
Yes, Sean Penn is in that movie.
That is the one name I know. So unfortunately, that's my guess. Sean Penn.
Mock Trial with Jay Reinhold.
Judge
Mock Trial with Jay Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold. Oh, wow. For like when you started singing that for a second, I was like, William Hung?
No.
He wasn't around then. Judge Reinhold is a hell of a whistler.
Really impressive. I had no idea he had that in him. That's really cool.
Was he buds with Paxton? Do you know? Is there any backstory?
Yeah, they did a movie in 1983 together called Lords of Discipline.
Not familiar with that. That's early.
I have not seen this movie. It is based on a novel by the same title, though.
I wonder if it has singing. Maybe we can talk about it someday.
Speaking of singing, the first song that Martini Ranch shot a video for was a song called How Can a Laboring Man Find Time for Self-Culture?
Bit of a mouthful, I think.
It is a bit of a mouthful.
Springsteen found the more concise way to speak to the working folk, but sure, okay.
Go ahead and listen to this and tell me if you think that it sounds like any particular band.
When I'm with you, why do I feel this way? You drive me wild, and we mix the dark passion. How can a laboring man find time for self-culture?
Pretty catchy chorus.
Yeah. It's so new wavy. It's so like I don't know, it's got a lot of stuff in there. It's got Oingo Boingo and Devo kind of sounding.
There it is.
Oh, Devo?
Devo. Because 3 members of the band worked on this song.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. That actually makes the title make more sense as well, because Devo always had these like long, contrived, socialism-inspired song titles and lyrical ideas.
Very true.
So they got 3 of the Devo folks just on that track, or they were involved in the band?
No, just on that track. I mean, I would assume that all of the songs that feature a Fairlight CMI were programmed by Mark Mothersbaugh, but I don't know for sure.
Gotcha.
And then on this song, Alan Myers does the percussion, and Bob Casale produced and engineered it.
No kidding. I had no idea.
So that's why it really sounds like Devo.
Wow. Yeah, it sure does. So I guess I assume because this is like weird internet history that you're laying on me right now, it wasn't a smash hit.
It's surprisingly not. No, it was very much compared to Oingo and Devo and things of the like, and just sort of swept aside for some reason. But no more. I have dug up the grave, kids. Go find this album. It is great.
That is a hell of a thing. I'm going to listen to that album.
Please do.
Back to the film at hand. Paxton in this one, we mentioned it before. He's playing a riff on Jimmy Buffett.
An artist that I'm only casually familiar with, if I'm being honest.
I mean, same. I think the Buffett thing is, I mean, certain artists have certain cults around them. You know, like there are people who just get Bob Dylan in a way that others don't.
The Kiss Army.
The Kiss Army, sure. Jimmy Buffett is another pretty extreme one of these. Like his Parrot Head fans are rabid. They are as dedicated as a fan base as there ever was. Mm-hmm. But it's not one of which I've ever been a member. So this has been kind of fun for me, just listening to Jimmy Buffett for the first time.
It's the most I've ever listened to Jimmy Buffett in a short amount of time. I'll definitely say that. And I came away with 2 takeaways from listening to a lot of Jimmy Buffett in the recent days.
Oh, yeah.
One being that it's sort of like, and this is not a shot by any means, because I like a lot of old country music and even some country pop like Shania Twain and all of that, but it sounds like island country at the end of the day.
Oh, great. This goes into the point that I wanted to make about Jimmy Buffett, which is, you know, he has this reputation as he's the island guy. Like that's his thing. Like he exists outside of genre almost.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, he's Jimmy Buffett. He is, I mean, if you listen to his first record, it's a pretty straightforward folk album. Mm-hmm. Later, he gets into, I think if you couldn't call it anything else but country music. I think it's definitely in that vein more than any other style, with some exceptions over the years. But I just wanted to say, I don't think Jimmy Buffett gets enough credit for how much he influenced country music and sort of the turn that country music took in the late 80s and 90s, for better or worse, how it sounds and how they sort of popified it to the point where it's just a few instruments different from what you hear on the rock stations these days. I think Jimmy Buffett had a hand in that. I have a clip from the great filling station Hold Up.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's even got the twang.
Well, so the twang, I feel like this is him. That's the influence coming into him from older Waylon Jennings style, Hank Williams style country, and also he added like a levity and a jokiness to it that made it like okay to make certain types of songs. My example here is I don't know if you've ever heard this one, Shawn. It's called "Prop Me Up Beside the Jukebox If I Die" by an artist named Joe Diffie.
Not that I'm aware of.
Me up beside the jukebox if I die.
There's a type of storytelling in there that's kind of what Jimmy Buffett was all about. Like, don't be too serious about life, right? And I think that bled over into country music at large. It's sort of, I mean, what this guy's saying, "Prop me up beside the jukebox if I die," is not too far from like "keep the party going," like what the Parrot Head thing is all about.
Sure, yeah.
So that's the one biggest way I think Jimmy Buffett influenced country music. I think he also influenced in that a lot of people came out with songs trying to be just like his song Margaritaville. For example, this one by Garth Brooks.
Oh, see, he's ripping off Coconut Pete right now.
That song was incredibly hard to find, by the way, because Garth Brooks still polices his media online as if he were 90s Metallica.
Ugh. The second takeaway that I had in listening to Jimmy Buffett came when I heard the song "Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes."
Yeah.
So I'm going to play a little bit of this song, and I want you to pay particular attention to the cadence in which Mr. Buffett is singing.
Okay.
And then try to think what comedian that we both really like, comedic actor, would sing in a way like this.
All of the faces and all of the places, wondering where they all disappeared. I didn't ponder the question too long. I was hungry and went out for a bite.
That one specifically.
With a bottle of rum and we wound up drinking all night. It's those changes.
Wait, are you hearing a little Sandler?
No. Will Forte.
Oh, Will Forte totally
It really sounds like Will Forte.
his like mumble sing. Yeah.
It really felt like something he would have been singing while just dicking around in Last Man on Earth, like this.
I'll eat you raw. I'll eat you raw. Who needs heat? I'll eat a liquid waffle. Waffle, waka, 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 waka.
Sucks. Last Man on Earth, criminally underrated and has some of the best cold opens.
Oh my God, yeah. Absolutely amazing show. Hilarious stuff. But it really, when I heard that song, I was like, oh my God, this is a Will Forte cadence. I have to mention this.
What do you say? Should we get into the songs from the film?
Yeah, I think it's about time we get into the songs from the film.
First one up, Pleasure Island.
This is the Coconut Pete song that will just get stuck in my head out of the blue. The chorus is super catchy. I really like the vibes of the song, and it just pops into my head out of nowhere.
It's definitely the most melodic song. It's the songiest song on the album, I would say.
Pleasure Island, island of pleasure. No need to stop and think. Pleasure Island, a beautiful treasure. Come on down and have a drink.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, this does a really good job of tapping into later Buffett, fully resort-owning Buffett, for sure. So Pleasure Island was written by, well, it's a little unclear what I was able to find, but presumably the lyrics were written by Kevin Heffernan and Paul Soter, and the music by Nathan Barr, the composer of the whole score to this film.
Nathan got his start as an assistant to Hans Zimmer, working on the movie As Good As It Gets, the Jack Nicholson movie.
Oh, yeah, I remember that movie.
And then he followed Hans to his next movie, Prince of Egypt, in 1998. And then in 1998 composed his first full score by himself for the wrestling documentary Beyond the Mat.
Oh, cool.
And then he's been super busy ever since then. He composed the music for every episode of True Blood, The Great, movies like Cabin in the Woods and The Hunt, and he had a nice run with the Broken Lizard Boys after Club Dread. He did Dukes of Hazzard, Beer Fest, and Slam Sam.
Oh, wow. So he's been their guy, or he was their guy for a while.
The next Coconut Pete song that we hear in the movie is one called Ponytails Cocktails, and it is a live acoustic song.
We get a little comedy out of that one.
For sure.
Ponytails, cocktails, two things that will always rock.
But a word to all you males.
Don't ever lose those tails, cause then you'll just have pony cock.
And then it goes into that amazing drunken Margaritaville woman.
So yeah, Jimmy Buffett's probably most famous song, Margaritaville.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville. Searching for my lost sugar salt.
Sing along at home.
You know the words. We don't.
No. Never heard it before.
But I know it's nobody's fault.
Well, I'm glad, because I always feel like it's my fault.
But that's if there's one song that is his brand, it's probably Margaritaville, right? I mean, it's the name of his resort, it's the name of his restaurants, it's his George Lucas creation. It's how he took his art and turned it into commerce.
Yeah, that and Cheeseburger in Paradise. Those are the first two that I think of.
So yeah, those two for sure. Those are like the heart of the Jimmy Buffett brand. But specifically Margaritaville, Coconut Pete has a song that, according to him, predates Margaritaville by about 7 years. And Coconut Pete's anthem, his brand song, is called Pina Coladaberg. Shawn, what you working on over there? Pressing a lot of buttons, dude.
Huh? Oh, I'm just calling my buddy Meth Syndicate.
I'm sorry, your buddy Meth Syndicate?
Yeah, but I mean, his real name is Eric. Meth Syndicate is just the name of his kick-ass t-shirt company.
What's up, dude?
Yo, what's up? You're live on K-Flix Fiction Radio, bud. I just had a quick question for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm live right now?
Yeah, live right now.
Oh, yeah. What's up, man? What's going on?
I just wanted to know,
Yeah.
do you want to go
Uh-huh.
to Pina Coladaberg?
Shawn. It's Margaritaville. Pina Coladaberg's from a movie.
I know, but I'm a Coconut Pete guy. I'm not much of a Jimmy Buffett guy, you know.
I know, but you call me every week. Every week I invite you to go out to dinner, and every week you suggest we go to Pina Coladaberg. It doesn't exist. I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
But I just like the coconut flavors, man. I like the coconuts.
They have coconut flavors at Margaritaville. I assure you do. They have coconut shrimp over mango salad. They have coconut over rice and bananas.
Oh.
They have coconut over anything you want, man.
Will they let me play my Coconut Pete Take Another Hit Greatest Hit vinyl while we hang out?
No, they don't have a record player. You ask that every single time you've brought in your vinyl to Margaritaville and asked them.
Wait, Mr. Syndicate, I gotta ask, how often does this guy call you?
Shawn, I felt bad, so I started inviting him out to Margaritaville every week. And then every time he would get excited, he would say, hey, why don't we go to Pina Coladaberg instead? And I keep telling him, hey, man, it doesn't exist. We can't make it to, there's no way that's possible. So now he calls me. He uses this radio show as an excuse to call me. He gets me all excited that I'm alive on the air. And then he just asked me to go out to eat at a restaurant that doesn't exist.
It exists in my heart.
My God, dude. I mean, we can go to Margaritaville. That's no problem.
We can go to Margaritaville?
But we cannot go to Pina Coladaberg because Coconut Pete is not a real person.
Well, yeah, all right.
You know who owns Margaritaville?
Jimmy Buffett.
Bill Pullman.
What?
Just kidding. No. Jimmy Buffett. You're right, buddy. I was just teasing you. Hey, Margaritaville, I just found out, has a new Calypso coconut shrimp on the menu and a brand new frozen pina colada.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, you can get anything. Anything you want with coconut.
All right, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, we should go to Margaritaville.
All right, cool. We'll wrap this up, and I'll give you a text, and I'll let you know what time we're heading over there.
Okay, great. Awesome. I'll see you tonight.
All right, sounds good, man. Don't bring that vinyl.
No promises.
Leave it at home.
Fine.
All right, I'll text you in a bit.
Shawn, did you start this radio show as a way to go to a restaurant that doesn't exist?
Dude, would you just let me fucking live out my fantasies however I want to live them out? This is a judgment-free zone. This is my radio station is judgment-free. Judgment-free radio. J-Flix, judgment-free radio. Welcome. We're your hosts. Kohne, Shawnee, and Wuston Dyeskoff.
Shawn's broken. We'll be right back.
Hoisted another glass in pina colada berg. Coconut milk with a pineapple splash. Don't forget that the rum comes third. Pass that flat on my ass in pina colada berg. Bloodshot eyes and a sore mustache. Mouth tastes like pinata turd.
I hate when that happens.
Pinata turds.
So we hear another set of vocals on this track, Dustin. Did you notice that?
Yeah, there's so it sounds like a woman singing.
Her name is Elizabeth Scott, who is extremely accomplished in basically every field related to music.
Oh, really?
Composing, songwriting, singing, tons of instruments, you name it, this woman can do it. She's involved with really cool stuff from all kinds of genres. Sleepy Hollow, Avatar, Passion of the Christ, Munich.
Oh, wow, she's all over the place. But those are all huge films.
Also, I have one more note from Coconut Pete on my vinyl.
Another message.
I wrote this one in 1970. Margaritaville came out in 1977. You're welcome, Jimmy. The B-side to Pina Colada Berg was called Monday's Comin'. The B-side to Margaritaville was called Come Monday. Need I say more?
Just brazenly claiming that his shit came first.
Come Monday is another pretty big Jimmy Buffett song from my understanding.
I think it is, yeah. We're getting into the stuff that I was not familiar with at all as an outsider prior to this.
Here's a little clip from Come Monday by Jimmy Buffett, just so that way we can hear what the Coconut Pete song might have sounded like, at least.
I got my hush puppies on. I guess I never was meant for glitter rock and roll. And honey, I didn't know.
That one's kind of more into the folk roots of early Jimmy. I mean, he always had a few songs, it seems like, throughout his career. I mean, again, this guy released literally dozens, I think, of albums. I have not listened to it all, but I think he always had at least a few kind of folk songs like that on his record. This brings me to the one song on the Coconut Pete Greatest Hits that is not featured in the movie. It's called She's a Comin', She's a Blowin'.
She's a comin', she's a comin', and she's a blowin', she's a blowin'.
Now, I didn't find any proof of this, but I would assume that Elizabeth Scott is doing vocals on this song as well. But I don't know for sure.
Gotcha. But yeah, it is weird. There are no credits available for this song in particular because it's not credited in the film. But this song, this is the folkiest sounding song on the soundtrack.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to cover all of the different avenues of Buffett. You got to get the slowed down songs in because all the other ones sort of have like a higher, fun island energy to them. Where
yeah, that's true.
She's a Comin', She's a Blowin' brings it down a step. And then that leaves us with one song. And that song is Naughty Cal, and I find this song to be the most insane and goofy of all of them, just nonsensical, and I love it for that.
Well, because it was written around the plot, unlike the rest of the songs.
Right, yeah. Well, it was also written to be goofy and nonsensical, too, to be confusing to the characters as they're trying to unfold this murder mystery that's happening around them.
Uh-huh, yeah.
There's one particular line delivery of Paxton singing as Coconut Pete that gets me every time.
Before you knew it, the fun was over, 'cause Bongo and Toki were dead.
I love the Bongo and Toki were dead.
It's so Paxton. This is the most like growl singy that he gets on the soundtrack too.
Yes, yeah.
They were all gonna die.
And it's so funny with the la la la's.
La la la. When they're playing it backwards, yeah. I love when this song comes back later in the film. Whenever we see Dave the DJ's spinning head, and we get
Yeah, the devil Coconut Pete.
that one. They clearly, yeah, like I said, they made that song around the plot that it needed to fit. But I think it works great.
I think so too, yeah. So Dustin, I gotta be honest with you here, bud. I ended up watching a lot of the extra Broken Lizards content because I found myself enjoying Club Dread quite a bit. So I watched Beer Fest again, I rewatched Super Troopers again, and I watched Slammin' Salmon again. And while watching Slammin' Salmon, I 1000% forgot that Vivica A. Fox plays a fictional pop star called Nutella in the movie.
Oh, what?
She's described as a mix of Norah Jones, Fergie, and Beyonce.
Ooh, okay, that's a lot.
We get a little bit of information about Nutella. She doesn't tip. Mm-hmm. She talks in third person. And she has a song called Too Sincere for You.
Good evening, Miss Nutella. We are so honored to have you with us tonight. And can I just say that I love your song, Too Sincere for You. For you.
Got it. Nutella thanks you, baby.
So yeah, that was a pretty fun discovery just out of randomly rewatching that movie because I enjoyed rewatching Club Dread again. So that's a fun little thing to discover.
Oh yeah, nice. I'm glad you made the journey. I need to go spend some time with the old Broken Lizard films of the early aughts.
They haven't made anything that I don't like. I always find a lot of humor in the things that they do. Tacoma FD is so funny. Yeah, I'm a big fan of these guys.
Yeah.
So with all of this stuff covered, you know what I'm about to ask, Dustin? Mm-hmm. Would you chill out with Coconut Pete in your free time if he was producing music?
Okay. The way you phrased that, like if I got the chance to actually chill out with Coconut Pete, hell yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, nobody's going to pass that up. Yeah, you're still at the end of the day hanging out with Paxton.
It's basically Bill Paxton. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. We both talked about how we weren't coming into this like as big Buffett guys or anything. I've definitely come to appreciate the style and the easy island life a little bit more through researching and making this episode.
Fair.
Sure. You know, in the right circumstances. The older I get, the better it sounds. Let's put it that way.
That's because all we want to do is relax now.
That was honestly, that was the biggest sort of weird thing about this movie to me was how young the people were who were coming to this island. It's like, that is not the demographic. That is not at all the demographic.
True. That's so true.
But it is the demographic for slasher victims, so it worked.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, it's a summer camp movie, but they found a way to spice it up and make it more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? Would you sip a cold one with Coconut Pete?
100%. I mean, same as you. I mean, that's sort of saying that I'm going to sit down with Coconut Pete and enjoy a pina colada. I listen to Coconut Pete in my regular existence way more than I've ever listened to Jimmy Buffett lifetime. So I gotta think if this was a real artist, I would lean toward listening to it because naturally I lean more toward the comedic. Coconut Pete has funnier lyrics. Also, Coconut Pete in basically every song is talking about getting rip-roaring high, which is something I love to do. Buffett's not talking about hitting bongs in his songs, but Coconut Pete, like I can relate more to the music of Coconut Pete because he's talking about a thing that I very much enjoy.
Sure.
Because I'm not a big drinker.
I think Buffett has definitely referenced 420 friendliness at some point.
I don't have the authority to say whether he has or has not.
Fair.
I don't know. It feels like it's more represented in Coconut Pete style than it is with Jimmy Buffett.
I mean, the
style.
album's called Take Another Hit.
Exactly. Yes. Uh-huh.
It's a little less undercover, if anything.
So yeah, I just find that the Coconut Pete is a little bit more relatable for me. So yeah, I would lean more toward Coconut Pete if he had released all of these records in our existence. I think I would rock with that.
Hell yeah. Well, hey everyone. I hope you have enjoyed learning about Club Dread and Coconut Pete with us, and I hope you're feeling a little more chill than you did when we started this whole thing.
We should all be feeling like we're on a beach, enjoying the sound of the ocean lapping up at our feet while you're leaving us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Hey, speaking of Spotify, all of the songs we talk about, or as many as we can find on Spotify, are collected in a playlist that we have going just for our show.
That is true.
Definitely search it up, or we got links on all our bios
at fictionradiopod.com.
That's the best place to find everything related to K-Flicks Fiction Radio.
That's where you can find our email address to let us know about other fictional artists you want us to talk about. That's where you can find all of our social media links and all of the episodes of the podcast.
Well, on that note, namaste, Shawn.
Fuck off!
Watching movies and jamming out. K-Flicks 198.4 Fiction Radio.